Hello, this is Ronette with Freedom and Passive Income, and tonight we are going to talk about the Cash Flow Quadrant by Robert Kiyosaki. And I'm very excited about this because once I found out about this, it totally opened my eyes and transformed how I was going to move forward with becoming financially fit and building wealth for myself and my family. But if this is your first time visiting, I would love for you to like, share, and subscribe. And also make sure that you hit the notification bell so that you can get the latest tips, strategies, and information to become financially fit and build wealth. So we're back, and if you've never heard or seen of this is the Cash Flow Quadrant by Robert Kiyosaki. And Robert Kiyosaki is a business owner and an investor that wrote a book that became very popular many years ago. I think it was written in like the 90s, and it was called Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Poor Dad. And he talked about how he was taught this cash flow quadrant by his rich dad, and his rich dad was really not his biological father. It was the father of his best friend. And what was so interesting was that Robert's own father had a PhD. He had a PhD, and he was a very prominent educator, and I think he was like an administrator of the educational system in Hawaii. That's where Robert was born and raised. And he was what Robert called his poor dad. Even though his biological father had a PhD, he did not build wealth, and he was not a business owner. And I think that his rich dad actually was a high school dropout, but he thought totally differently about money. And what he was showing his son, he also showed Robert Kiyosaki. And when Robert Kiyosaki became an adult, he decided to go the path that his rich dad taught him, and it was based upon this cash flow quadrant. So as you can see, on the right side, you have your employee and your self-employed person, and that's normally where most of us start. And the goal is to move to the right side of the quadrant to become a business owner and an investor. And so, like I said, this was definitely very life transforming for me, because I had never seen this. I had never heard this. I was told, just like most people, you get good grades, you go to college, you get a good job, benefits, and all of that. And I pursued that, and I don't regret doing it, but I wish that I would have known this at the same time that I was going to college, because then what I would have done was maybe I would have pursued my career a little bit differently. Maybe I would have started off as an employee so that I could get some quick income, reliable income coming in while I was trying to become a business owner and eventually an investor. And so if you've never seen this before, this is very powerful, and it gives you a visual of where you are and where you need to be if you want to reach certain financial goals in life. Like most people want to become the investor. That's where our money works for us. And so we have our 401ks, 403bs, IRAs, and we're basically told that's going to be our vehicle to go from being an employee to becoming an investor. But what Robert teaches is that really what you really need to do is become a business owner first, and then that way you actually own a system and people, and you leverage the time and the talents of other people who will work for you to create the cash flow and give you your time back, because your time is the most valuable thing that you have. And most of us are on that left side of the quadrant where we're exchanging our time for money. So we don't really have a lot of time to build a business system that will work for us, whether we're there or not, something that we can grow exponentially to become an investor and have our money work for us. You can do this to some extent with a 401k or an IRA, but the challenge with that is that you're limited in how much you can invest and grow your income. You have a certain amount that you can invest, and then you have to hope that that money is going to grow exponentially for you, and it will to some extent. but it's better if you can have your initial cash flow that comes in grow exponentially and continue to grow with the leverage, by leveraging other people's time, talent, and the things that they're able to do, things that you may not even know how to do. That's where you hire professionals and things of that nature. So I just wanted to show this to you, give you a basic understanding. This is going to be my next series. I'm going to, after these videos that I do after today, are going to be going over specific details about each person in each quadrant and the pros and cons of each quadrant, or being in each quadrant. And so I just wanted to share this with you. Just think about, where are you in this quadrant? Because it's not necessarily good or bad. It's just, where do you want to be? Some people love what they do. They love having a job and they never really want to do anything else. And there are other people that love being self-employed and they really don't want to do anything else. And that's all well and fine, but it's really best if you make an educated decision in terms of which quadrant you're going to stay in, or which quadrant you want to move to, and how to get there. And I'll even, as the series goes on, I'll share with you exactly where I am and what my goals are. So I want to keep these videos short because I know everybody's busy. And so I feel that if I break these up and I do them in parts and have a series, if you want to watch all of them at the same time and spend more time, you can. But if you don't have time, you can just take the short bursts of information, and then you can go from there. So that's all I have today. I just wanted to show you what this quadrant was, what it was about. And again, if you have not already gotten my free book, the book called Make, Manage, and Master Your Money, that's an awesome book that will help you get started and give you the basic foundational principles to become financially fit. And the next thing that you want to do is you want to make sure that you're in a position, or you've already taken the steps to increase your cash flow. And you can do that with your next paycheck. There's a strategy to do that. And you also want to save in gold, and all that information is in the description below. So make sure that you take advantage of those free resources and information, and I will see you on the next video.